Welcome back into ARC Southeast Texas. You may have the pumpkin spice and scary movies on your mind, but with fall itching closer, can't forget about your gardens. We've got David Oates joining us this morning with what we need to know, making that transition kind of from summer to fall. We were just talking, Jade has more of a green thumb than I do. So
I say that loosely, that term loosely, very much so.
But they're living, that's right. That's the important part about some of those plants.
You bet. It's always fun to grow new and exciting things in the garden. So we always encourage our gardeners to get out and try new things, no matter the season. So.
Sure. And now what's some of the tips? I mean, is there a big transition that folks need to make or be thinking about when you go from summer to fall when it comes to gardening?
So from summer to fall, we're very fortunate here in Southeast Texas to have kind of a mini season, kind of in the, we're not quite fall, but we're inching out of the summer season. So we're cooling off. So we can actually do a secondary crop of some fall vegetables and maybe, things like that. Tomatoes are a good crop that we can do right here in this small window before the frost comes. You might be able to squeeze in maybe a few more cucumbers and squash and things like that. But our deadline is kind of looking at the fall season when the first frost hits. So we're kind of working backwards in that term. But if you get them in early, you can definitely have a secondary crop. And the cooler weather is really good for those plants. And you'll get a little crop, extra crop.
Yeah, well, never hurts.
So curious to know, with the changing of the seasons, should I expect some of my plants to just die, or can I save them, or just let them go and start over fresh with the new season?
Well, that's a good question. If we're going to take tomatoes, for example, because I think that's one of the crops that everybody, has in their garden. Sometimes the insects and the disease are just too much on the crop. So if they're damaged, from disease and things like that, it's probably better just to go ahead and pull those out and start fresh with a new tomato crop for the early fall season. And get them done. Like I said, you don't want to roll over those diseases and insect issues to your fall crops. Now, if your plants still look healthy, you can prune some of your tomatoes back and give them a second start, and they will continue to do good. But again, if they're diseased and insect ridden, probably just best to start over.
So are we talking now? Now's the time to make that switch?
Now is the time. We're kind of in that transitional zone. So late August, September is a great time to get those plants in. Again, you're kind of racing against the fall season where the first freeze or frost will come, and that'll kind of dictate when you can stop growing things like that in the garden.
Okay. What things do you think would make for great plants to move in that transition?
Oh, so definitely right now, tomatoes, cucumbers, and squash. Your local feed stores and hardware stores will have a great source of transplants that are already up, established in 6-packs or 4-inch pots, and go ahead and get those in the ground or containers, and they'll be ready to go here in probably 60 to 75 days.
Okay.
So we get to have a secondary crop.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start cooking some of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, that'd be nice. Perfect for fall too. Okay, any other tips that folks need to know as they kind of we're in this little mini transition period? So
now is a good time to really focus on upgrading that soil in your garden.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. Adding compost, soil amendments now in the cooler season gives those spring gardens a time to kind of, lets that material kind of work itself into the soil and get established. So if you're adding compost, soil amendments, things like that, now's a fantastic time to add that to your soil and be ready for the spring garden.
Okay. Always planning ahead, sounds
Absolutely. We kind of have to stay 2 steps ahead sometimes for the garden.
Which I guess can be hard to do sometimes since the weather's a little bit unpredictable around here.
That is true. The weather is unpredictable, but in between the rain showers, it's a great time to work in the garden when it's cooler.
Yeah. See, I feel like this is a little bit hard for me because I don't have a garden. I have plants that I have an attachment to. I don't know if that's weird or not.
Nope.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, the weird plant that we were just talking about, my weird succulent thing that is literally growing legs. I may run off at some point. I love it, and so if I were to kill my garden, with the changing of the season or whatever, I think I'd feel really bad about it.
Yeah.
So
that happens, you just gotta start over.
Absolutely. I mean, we're like I said, very fortunate to have gardening here year round. So, if something doesn't cooperate or you don't get a good crop, just wait, a couple of months and you can start again and try something different or even try that new plant again.
Yeah. I guess a good thing about vegetables too is, and I've heard people that I know that have gardens and whatnot, that the crops grow so fast when they get established and they're doing their thing. They grow so fast they can't even keep up with the amount that it's producing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Right now I think okra. Everybody has okra
Oh,
available.
yeah.
So if you like okra, find your neighbor. I guarantee you they'll give you some extra okra,
Yeah.
things like that. So a lot of people like to grow more than they need, and then they share with
Yeah.
neighbors and friends. So it's always a good opportunity.
Yeah.
There you
Very
go.
cool. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. A couple tips and some advice as we kind of head into the fall season for your garden there.